Good evening and welcome in to the Wild Sports Show for the Radio Arena Sports Line QMP. And Cowboys offseason outlook. We're going to go around the league because there's quite a few moves that have been made within the last few days. Honestly, it was tag day, which is teams could put on franchise tags or transition tags to certain players. And we're going to also discuss the combine, the results of the combine, and what the draft may possibly look like following the results of the combine. As you know, a lot of players' stock can rise or fall based on their performance of the combine. So, Pops, you ready to talk to the people?
Let's go. Let's get going. Let's see what they think about it also. So we'll get them comments coming in later on.
All right. So, first up, Cowboys offseason outlook. First thing we got is it was expected to happen was the Cowboys having players or Cowboys players restructuring their deals. So we have a few of the Cowboys players, which again was expected for them to restructure their deals. And so, when we're talking about certain players, we're talking about Dak Prescott, we're talking about Tyler Smith, we're talking about those players that have a significant impact on our salary cap, which if they restructure their deals, it means that we'll be able to clear a whole lot of cap space. So that's what we're trying to do, is making sure that, we are able to sign players as much as possible, or the players that we need in the biggest areas of need as quickly as possible. Because as we know, Pops, when free agency time comes, the tampering period happens, and then it's off to the races. It is off to the races. So, Pops, give me your thoughts on, some of these Cowboys restructuring their deals. And, what do you think? Because also, and I forgot to add in there, CeeDee Lamb is one of those players that restructured his deal. And we also looking at possibly reworking some contracts for Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, and also Osa Odigizua. So, Pops, give me your thoughts on that. Give me your thoughts on what you're thinking about the Cowboys restructuring their deals. And then just in general, what you think that's going to mean for us when it comes down to getting players re-signed and actually signing free agents. Oh no, actually, apologize. So I think y'all, Pops disconnected there. We're having a little technical difficulties there. So my apologies for that. So in the meantime, listen, y'all just go have me at our locations. It is quite a bit of rain today, quite a bit of storms going on. So, we figure we may have some issues there. So, hey, I'm here, y'all. So y'all got Q and P for the time being until Pops is able to come back on. Yo, what up, Brandon? Appreciate you tuning in, my man. Thanks so much for chiming in and tuning in, brother. We appreciate you. So, yeah, as I was mentioning, we have had the Cowboys restructure some of their contracts. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Smith, Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, also Odigizua. They're really counting a lot against the cap. But as you'll see in the article here, the restructuring of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyler Smith's deals will create $66 million of cap space, which is a big deal because we want to be able to re-sign players like Brandon Aubrey, our All-Pro Pro Bowl kicker, and we also want to sign a couple other players, namely Jadeveon Clowney. So maybe he's on the horizon, and also some of these other free agents that may surface. So we want to be able to capitalize on that as much as we possibly can. Now, saying that, Jerry Jones came out and said that he would bet that we will spend more money in free agency than we have. Now, we know that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have said the phrase, "we're all in." We're all in. Now, what does that mean as far as us spending money? on free agents. Not a whole lot. If anything, we were spending money on our own players in-house, namely Dak Prescott, namely CeeDee Lamb, namely Tyler Smith. But as far as going all in my opinion, that means that we're going all in as far as getting free agents outside of the Cowboys. That means that we're trying to do our best to bring a Super Bowl back to the Dallas Cowboys organization. So again, what Jerry Jones saying that we're going to be spending more money in free agency this time, well, we're going to see. Talk is cheap, because he said this before, saying we're all in and we didn't do a darn thing. So we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go when it comes to, him saying that we're going to spend money, but we'll see. The restructuring. Then it looks like we got a comment from Brandon. The restructuring only gives them $10 million in cap room because they're $56 million in the hole. That's why they have to restructure. Understood. So yeah, with them doing that, and also we're working the contracts of those other three players. That's what's going to give us that ultimate amount of cap room. So we should be in a very, very good place, because we all knew this was coming. We all knew for a fact that Dak Prescott was going to restructure his deal. He actually came out and said it because he thought, if this has anything to do with us being able to re-sign George Pickens, and that's another one of the free agents that we're going to try to re-sign as well. He's already on a franchise tag, which is paying him $28 million. So we're hoping that these restructuring deals will then create that room for us to sign George Pickens, as well as other free agents that'll be out there on the market. Like I said, it remains to be seen. Again, we heard what Jerry Jones has said, but again, talk is cheap, guys. We'll see if he actually steps up and gets it done. Him and Stephen Jones actually put their money where their mouth is and see if they get it done. I'm hoping they do. But again, we've been on this road before, so we don't know if this is true or not. I mean, I will say that, as I said in last week's show, that I was very surprised that we did re-sign Javonte Williams to the contract that we did. I was totally surprised. It looks like we got Pops back on, y'all. Pops is back on. Welcome back to the show, Pops.
It's like I told you guys today, you never know what the storm going on. So I'm here and ready to go.
All right, Pops. So as I was saying to the people about the restructuring of the deals, and I did tell them as well about what Jerry Jones said about, saying that he bets that we will spend more money in free agency than we have. So give me your thoughts on, as I was mentioning before, give me your thoughts on the Cowboys restructuring their deal, and then also what Jerry Jones had to say about what they're going to do in free agency.
Well, like I said, I hate to go back into history a little bit, but last year when he told us that he was going to go all in, and man, we were all excited, and everybody was saying, yeah, if Jerry does this here, the Super Bowl, here we come. And so I'm kind of hesitant to actually say too much about that until I actually see the meat on the plate, because Jerry's done this before to us. I had a friend of mine tell me, he said, how is it that Jerry get the fans so hyped up, and then the next thing you know, they're back in the same position they were before.
Well,
but
as I was saying, Pops, and I said the same thing, where it was like you're thinking about what was being said in the past. All right, there's Pops again, y'all. Like I said, we're having some storms over in our locations, y'all. So this might be a thing in and out as Pops is trying to get everything worked on his end. So we're gonna keep it going. But I know what Pops was saying initially. He was saying that, you know, going back in the past, what Jerry Jones has said, piggybacking what I said, Jerry Jones saying that we're all in and not really conveying that with the money he was spending, on outside free agents. So it is what it is, y'all. But we're gonna see again. Hopefully, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones put their money where their mouth is. QOC Network, appreciate you chiming in. Yeah, the weather bad on this end as well. I hear you. Yeah, I'm hearing it out there too. Those storms and everything. So we're gonna hope Pops is able to get back on, but we're gonna keep pushing, y'all. So listen, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we've had quite a few things happen around the league in regards to, player moves, trades, player transitions and transactions in general, transitioning from team to team, getting cut from certain teams. It's been some moves that have gone on for sure, y'all. So first up, y'all, we had a trade. We had a trade between the Lions and the Texans, y'all. So, which apparently was not really a surprise to some because, they were saying that David Montgomery was on a trading block. And as you'll see here, David Montgomery pictured. David Montgomery was traded from the Lions to the Texans. Okay. So the Texans, as we know, had many running back issues throughout this past season. They had a decent, running back in Woody Marks. He gave some juice, but their main guy, Joe Mixon, ended up being out for the season. So as you'll see in the pick here, the Texans got David Montgomery, and then the Lions got a 4th-round pick, offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, and a 7th-round pick as well. So while the Lions got some other depth for their O line, the Texans got someone that is a bona fide running back who's been part of that awesome 1-2 punch the Lions have had. You know, that Sonic and Knuckles 1-2 punches they had there in Detroit. But we'll see what he does in Houston. But I think it's a good move for the Texans in general because we don't know what's going to happen to Joe Mixon if he's going to come back healthy, or they may just cut ties in general, and he may be a cap casualty to help them save even more on the cap, being the Texans. And like I said, with the Lions, they already have a bona fide running back. We featured him on this show when the Cowboys were getting ready to play the Lions before as being a player that the Cowboys needed to stop. So they got them a guy still there with the Lions, and now more than likely they will either promote from within that second running back, or they'll get someone in the draft, which I truly believe they'll probably draft it back. Got another comment from Brandon. Texans still needs some O-line help, or Montgomery will have nowhere to run. I hear you there, brother. I hear you. So we're going to see what they do. I know they're going to address their line issues in the draft for sure because they don't need to touch anything on the defense. The defense is outstanding. So I think the Texans' main focus is to rebuild that O-line to get them that help with the running game that they truly do need. You're absolutely right about that, brother. Appreciate you chiming in. But yeah, so once again, David Montgomery to the Texans, y'all. Traded from the Lions. Lions get back in return a 4th-round pick, old lineman Drew Scruggs, and a 7th-round pick. So rooting for you, David Montgomery. A new place. We'll see if you can get it done, man. You definitely made it happen anywhere you've gone so far, whether that's Chicago, in Detroit, and now we'll see what happens with Houston. So good luck to you, David Montgomery. So next up, y'all, we had another trade. It was Jermaine Johnson that was traded from the Jets, defensive lineman of the Jets, that was traded for T'Vondre Sweat of the Titans, who's another defensive lineman. Now, as far as player trades, that's not a common thing in the NFL. I mean, we've seen it, with the Cowboys when they traded away, Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark. But that's typically not the case. Typically, players are traded for draft picks. You know, maybe somebody, for depth or something like that, but it's rare. Normally, a player is traded for draft picks in return. So as you see, Jermaine Johnson of the Jets not going to be Titan, and Devondre Sweat is going to be a Jet. And this is a ton of moves that the Jets have made, just in general. They made a ton of moves as we saw them trading away Sauce Gardner. I mean, and then traded away Quentin Williams to the Cowboys. Now you have, Jermaine Johnson going to the Titans. So I see what they're trying to do. They're really trying to build their team through the draft. Aaron Glenn is really trying to build this team, from scratch through the draft as the Lions did. That's what he's used to seeing. They built a winner there based on their draft picks, and that's what he's trying to do with the Jets. Now, we'll see if he can duplicate that with the Jets. I'm rooting for you, Aaron Glenn, for sure, because I want to see you succeed. I don't want to see you getting fired, man, because remember, they were talking about getting you fired, getting you up out of there in October for this past season. So hopefully you'll be able to get it done, man, with these picks, and they'll give you time. They'll be patient with you to get it done.
Thank you.
Looks like we got Pops back on the screen. Glad to have you back, Pops. I was just telling the people about this trade that happened between the Jets and the Titans. Jermaine Johnson, defensive lineman for the Jets, going to the Titans for Devondre Sweat, which is a defensive lineman for the Titans, who now be a Jet. And mentioning that Aaron Glenn is trying to build something like they had with the Lions when he was with them. He's trying to build up the team through the draft. And I'm hoping that the Jets will be absolutely just extremely patient with him to be able to see the whole thing through. What are your thoughts on this trade and just what the Jets are doing in general, Pops?
Well, the Jets, with the record that they had, it won't be too much that they have to do to make everything look a lot better, whatever. So they're trying to place the pieces together to at least have a better season than they had this last year. And so hopefully this young man can help them and make them have a better defensive team, because the simple fact of it is the Jets gave up quite a few points. So we'll see what happens with that. If it is a success, then hey, maybe they won't want to fire the coach.
Well, what do you think, though, Pops? Do you think he's going to be able to have that long leash, that patient owner as the Lions had with Dan Campbell and what he did? Do you think they're going to have that same patience with Aaron Glenn in New York?
Well, this is also, you have to include the New York fans. They're the ones that a lot of times determine who stays in New York and who doesn't stay. And so I'm thinking that this young man had a good impact, a heck of an impact at the beginning of the season. I think they'll probably back off a little bit, but if not, I think he'll be gone in about maybe 4 to 5 games.
Right. Well, Aaron Glenn, hopefully, man, you ain't gone in 4 or 5 games, brother. Hopefully they'll give you that patient long leash that, like I said, Dan Campbell has been given with the Lions. We'll see. I mean, I'm really, like I said, I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn. They've been making a lot of moves, and we're talking about this particular move because it's one of many, as I mentioned before you got back on, one of many trades that they've made to acquire picks. We got another comment from Brandon. The Jets, 0 interceptions in 2025. They need a lot of help. Hey, listen, I see you capitalize at 0 too. Agreed. They did have 0 interceptions, which is never happened in the history of the NFL, which is absurd that occurred as far as that team was concerned. Because it wasn't like, they had Sauce Gardner throughout a good part of the year. So the fact that they had 0 interceptions is baffling. But you're right, they do need a lot of help. And as I was saying, with all these draft picks, now obviously you got to pick well. Bottom line, you got to pick well to make sure that, these draft picks that you're acquiring make a true impact, because that's what happened with the Lions. So got another comment from Brandon. And Glenn is a defensive mind. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. He is. Now, it wasn't like they weren't terrible. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that they didn't get turnovers. And I think as he builds his team, and his, with his culture and things of that nature, I think things will turn around. And like I said, I'm rooting for the guy. I'm an honorary Jets fan because I want to see Aaron Glenn succeed. I really do. Because I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing as far as getting these picks, trying to build up to the draft, and we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. But again, Aaron Glenn, we're rooting for you, man. But again, you see Jermaine Johnson, defensive lineman for the Jets, now is a Tennessee Titan. Tavondre Sweat is now a New York Jet. All right, y'all. Next up, we got a little news that happened out of Arizona. Kyler Murray was told that he is going to be released probably by the start of the league year. So we'll see. Kyler Murray, though, y'all listen, it hasn't gone well for him. It hasn't gone well for him at all as far as in Arizona. Not as well as it should have gone. You know, I'm hoping that it turns out to be a lot better for him wherever he winds up going. As you'll see here, guys, they informed him that, like I said, beginning of the league year, the very beginning, he will no longer be an Arizona Cardinal. Now, why hasn't it gone well for him, Pops? Tell me your thoughts. Why hasn't it gone well for Kyler Murray in Arizona?
Well, again, when he was first drafted, well, then with the ability that he had, when he was in college and all of that, I think the excitement that he brought to the Cardinals made the fans expect a lot more out of him, which he did produce. I think he did get him into the playoffs, and I think it may not look like it, but I think he started kind of getting injuries or whatever, and then I think he did also change. I don't know if it was offensive coordinator or whatever, but he seemed to make some kind of crazy decisions, some wild plays that he actually did make happen. But still, the thing about it is, it's kind of like they were saying they may have been like playing on the playground. He's always been that kind of a player, but in the NFL, you can't actually do that because people think you should have to have more structure. I think after he started failing and those plays didn't work for him, then people started getting frustrated with him. And then, like I said, the injuries set in, and I think that was one of his downfalls.
Okay. Now we got another comment from Brandon. I think Murray was always too undersized, but the coach never played to his strengths. Now I agree. Now mind you, he's won everywhere he's gone, whether it's high school, college, pro. But I agree with the coaching more than anything. That has played a major role in his development. I mean, going through coach after coach after coach. And not only that, but not having the coach there that drafted you, that always spells trouble because at the end of the day, they don't have ties with you. So if the coaches they bring it, coach drafts you, gets fired, bringing a new coach, they immediately can cut ties with you because at the end of the day, their success is tied to you. So at the end, they want to bring in their own guy. So I was honestly shocked that he was there for so long. I really thought this was going to happen early on when Jonathan Gannon became the head coach. But I was shocked that he stayed on. Got another comment from Brandon. He was undefeated against the Cowboys, so whoop-de-doo. LOL. Listen, man, I'm gonna need you to relax, brother. Relax on that. You're not wrong on that. You're not wrong, but relax, brother. Okay. But at the end of the day, people have also said that, is it really the coaching or is the fact that he hasn't really studied enough tape? They had the whole independent study clause in his contract, the most recent one that he received, saying that, it's a clause that he needs to study tape more and how much he's like on Call of Duty all the time and blah, blah, blah. So people were saying that, it's partly his fault, but again, I truly do blame it on the coaching, where that didn't do him any favors. And again, bringing in another coach after one of the drafted you was fired doesn't bode well for you. And like I said, I was shocked he stayed on as long as he did. When Jonathan Gannon got hired, I really thought they were going to cut ties. Any more thoughts on Kyler Murray, Pops?
Well, I don't know who will pick him up or not. And it's going to sound strange when I say this. We don't really have a backup quarterback here. I don't know if they can sign him or if he'll even want to come here, but it's kind of crazy. But like I said, he could be the third string.
Pops, now, I'm not going to go there with you now. Can't do that, Pops. And the thing that I would say now, I know I was on one of our previous shows that we had, episode 1 of this new season. I was saying that in the fan in me wanted to see the trade happen. Dak Prescott, 2 first-round picks for Joe Burrow. I know I said that. That would be the only one that I want to see that with. Because if we bring in Kyler Murray, quarterback controversy is going to start immediately when Dak Prescott has a bad game. So, we got to relax on that, Pops. I don't want to see that at all. Kyler Murray can stay away. Now, Kyler Murray, we brought him up in this particular part of the show because, we want to keep him on the screen. But another quarterback, Daniel Jones of the Colts, let's keep Kyler Murray back on the screen. Let's put him back up. But Daniel Jones of the Colts was given the transition tag. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that it was tag day this week. Tag day occurred this week. And basically, as I also mentioned at the beginning of the show, is that players can either be given a franchise tag or a transition tag. Franchise tag basically means that, the player can negotiate with other teams, but the only thing is if the other team decides not to match it, then the team that has offered them, the opposing team, other than his original team, they are to give up 2 first-round picks in compensation. That's a franchise tag. Now, the transition tag means that player can negotiate with any team, get an offer from another team, and all that. The only difference is with the transition tag, if that offer is not matched by the original team, then there is no compensation given by the team that has presented the offer, the opposing team. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all. So with a transition tag, if he were to sign with another team that makes him an offer and the Colts do not match that offer, the Colts do not get anything in return. So I'm saying that to say Kyler Murray's still on the screen because it's an intriguing situation. Now, Pops, I would not make this move as far as, put a transition tag on Daniel Jones, which is what he has. They put a transition tag on Daniel Jones, which means, again, if he signs with another team and the Colts do not match, Colts do not get any compensation in return. Now, we saw the type of season that Daniel Jones had, right? Kyler Murray is an intriguing prospect. Could you see Kyler Murray in a Colts uniform starting for them next year? Before you go, Pops, W. Jonigan, 1978, appreciate you chiming in. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, Pops, could you see Kyler Murray in a Colts uniform if Daniel Jones gets signed away by another team and the Colts, like I said, do not match that offer?
I can definitely see that. Because like I said, Daniel Jones is kind of like they expected more out of him when he was a little younger or whatever, and he hadn't kind of lived up to the expectation that they thought he would have rather. And so I think to bring excitement to New York, I think I would probably do that. I mean, I'm not. Is New York or is it to their coast, right? Indianapolis. I was thinking about him being with New York so long. But anyway, yeah. But Indianapolis, yeah. I think they'd love to see that, and I think I would do that. And Jones, like I said, he's all right, a good quarterback. But I think Kyler would bring a lot more excitement to the team, and probably he would probably bring a lot more offense to the team. And I don't know what other. I think they have one of the better running backs, or whatever. But I think I would probably do that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna disagree with you there, Pops, because I don't think they should. I think it was a mistake for them to even give Daniel Jones a transition tag in the first place because you're risking a player that played extremely well for you, came out of nowhere and played extremely well. They had an awesome record, they faltered at the end, but it was mainly because of injury. But you got a guy in your building that is used to the offensive system already, has shown you that he can be a bona fide quarterback in this league, in this particular system. You got a quarterback. Why put a transition tag on him? Yo, Josh Brady, 6789. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you chiming in. Thank you for the comment, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, I mean, again, risking putting a transition tag on this guy, on Daniel Jones. Again, if he played like trash, understood. But he played pretty well throughout the season until he started getting injured. And then we see what happened. So, do they want to go to the alternative, which is them having a significant losing streak? Or would you rock with a guy that led you to an awesome record before he started getting injured? So again, I think it's a mistake for them to have done a transition tag. Maybe there are those out there that don't agree with me. But yeah, Pops, that's just my thoughts on it. Your final thoughts on Daniel Jones in that transition tag.
Well, I'll say this: that he, how many seasons or winning seasons has he produced besides the one he had last year? And that's what kind of puts that out there in front of me about the fact that yeah, he did have a good season and all of that. But I guess I'm gonna have to just put the jury out on that to see if he can produce again, because I haven't seen him really do enough as first of all when they first drafted him. So the jury's still out on me about that.
Well, the only other winning season that he had that I could remember is when he was with New York, the New York Giants, and they had Saquon there. Now, Daniel Jones was not the reason they were winning. Saquon Barkley, they rode him to the playoffs. Daniel Jones just benefited from having Saquon Barkley there. So, just to answer your question, he had one other winning season that was with the New York Giants, and then after that, it just went downhill, injuries and all that kind of stuff. And then he wound up getting cut, and then journeyman, and then winds up with the Colts. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I think it's a mistake for them to have put the transition tag on him. We'll see if it works out for him. We'll see if it works out for the Colts. But if they lose out on him, shame on y'all. But as you see on the screen, Kyler Murray could potentially be a Colt. We'll see, because we know it's no longer going to be an Arizona Cardinal. But yeah, moving on, y'all. Moving on. Again, I was saying that there were many, many, many moves that were made with the franchise tags, and also notably those that weren't tagged. So Brees Hall, who's the starting running back for the Jets, was giving the non-exclusive franchise tag. So we'll see how that goes as far as him having a franchise tag there. I was honestly shocked that they did give him the franchise tag, Brees Hall, but he was a very good back for them last year. He just had a lot of fumbling issues, but he was a good back, Pops.
Yeah.
So with Brees Hall with the Jets, you think it was a good idea for them to give him the franchise tag and wanted him to stay on board with the team?
Yeah, like I said, the guys, the coach is still trying to put the team together, and he knows what he can do. And so I would give him another shot to see, because sometimes when you get players a full term contract or whatever like that, then they tend to slack up a little bit, as they might say. But I think that was a good deal to see with the other players that they may get, to see how the team may gel or whatever. But yeah, I'll go with it. Because like I said again, uh, hopefully he'll produce just as much. But if he does, then you know what that means. Then he's off the team.
True. Good point. Good point. Because at the end of the day, it kind of acts as like a prove it deal, like we did with George Pickens, right? So agreed. Good point there, Pops. So, as I also mentioned, there were notable players that were not tagged on tag day. One of them being Trey Hendrickson, uh, the Bengals defensive end, and Kenneth Walker, who's a starting running back, and most recently Super Bowl MVP. He was not franchise tagged. So, in essence, they are free agents. So, Pops, Trey Hendrickson being a free agent, are the Cowboys going to sign him?
Well, I kind of think we more or less will kind of see who. Well, we'll probably even look at the draft itself and try to find out if there's anybody there that we may be able to take that we could develop quickly. Because you don't really want to spend all your money just on one person or whatever. So I'm thinking that we'll have to look at some other options and see what the draft offers or whatever. But like I said again, there are a lot of other pieces we need to put together. So I'm going to hold my breath on that and see if we need to sign him or just kind of wait and see what we got out there.
Yeah, so we got a comment from UG Rich. Yo, I'm yo, we got another comment from a watch of the show. What team do you think should sign Hendrickson? Yo, appreciate your time and chiming in, my man. Thanks for the comment. I think honestly, I think the Cowboys should get him. I really do think the Cowboys should get him. Now we shall see. I had talked about this a few shows back about Trey Hendrickson possibly being acquired by us via trade. That didn't happen. And honestly, with how the Bengals handled the whole Trey Hendrickson situation was terrible. Honestly, terrible. In essence, they could have traded him away, but they never got anything in return for him. All this stuff, they gave him a bump in pay, but then, and yet still, they don't get anything for him. At the end of all this drama that happened with him, Pops, just talk about that. Trey Hendrickson, how the Bengals, it's not something that we're unaccustomed to when it comes to the Bengals, because they did a couple things. They re-signed Joe Burrow, of course. They re-signed T. Higgins. They re-signed Jamar Chase. But this situation with Trey Hendrickson, we know the Bengals defense is terrible. Tell me about that, Pops. How they just royally screwed this up.
Well, I think I would ask you this question. I mean, the Bengals have always been around, and then again, I go back to where Joe Burrow signed the contract, and the line or whatever it is, or his injuries or whatever, have caused them not to get back to the playoffs like they could have done. So I think you have to be really cautious about the fact of what they do in the future, because Joe had said earlier he wanted to get out of there, whatever, and then they went on and got him back, got into a contract. So there are a lot of other pieces that they need to put together besides signing him back. So I think they need to look at that first before they actually do what they need to do to secure him. So what do you think?
Listen, I would really like for us to sign Trey Hendrickson, but it baffles me how bad the Bengals truly did handle this thing. It was just, it was terrible. At the end of the day, they should have got something in return for him. Besides, they gave him the bump in pay, but they did not get anything as far as draft compensation. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of suitors out there for him. Namely, Cowboys were one of them. I'm sure they had a conversation. But even if it wasn't the Cowboys, some other team gets something for the guy. He's a heck of a player, and yet you get nothing in return. We're going to move away from that, Pops. We're going to move away. Now, listen, Brandon, I appreciate you. Let's go back to Brandon's comment real quick, because I saw it on the screen. So Brandon was saying Stephon Diggs is getting his Walker papers too. Now, listen, man, you're jumping the gun a bit, sir. I was going to get there, okay? I was going to get there. But you are absolutely right. That happened today. Stephon Diggs, after 1 year with the Patriots, is no longer a New England Patriot. And that is, according to what the Patriots are saying, strictly a financially based decision, because he was going to have a guaranteed $6 million if he were to be on the team at the end of next week. Now, Pops, you got some love here. Again, I'm not going to say that username, but saying Pops low key out here with ball knowledge. Hey, Pops, keep it up, sir. Keep it up, sir. Again, this is something we do all the time, Pops. You know what I mean? The
Yes,
people are
sir.
just getting to see what we talk about all the time on the air. That's all it is. So keep it up, Pops. Get some love out there.
I
But
appreciate the people. Yes,
Pops,
sir.
tell me what you think about Stephon Diggs getting cut after 1 year. Again, they're saying that it's purely financially based decision, which I understand because it didn't seem like he gave him any issues as far as you know being demonstrative on the sideline. It seemed like he was pretty chill. Having conversations, quarterback here and there. We've seen when he was a Buffalo how they got him out of there because it was drama between him and Josh Allen. So, what do you think about the Patriots getting rid of Stephon Diggs?
This may be people don't think of this, but it may be an underlying problem with him with this situation off the field that he said didn't take place. And I think they're not going to say anything about that. And he was an all right player. He was a pretty good player for them. But I think that underlying problem that he had with that stuff that happened just before the playoffs or during the playoffs or whatever, it's kind of like it's under the rug. It's an under the rug type thing. And so I don't think the New England Patriots want to be bothered with that. And I think they believe they can find somebody else to take his place that can be just as productive as far as another receiver. So we'll see what happens with that. But I can still say again, I think that deal that happened at the playoff time may have had a little bit to do with that.
Understood. Um, Josh Brady, low key would be a great addition to the league, but he was MVP in the Euro Youth League. I mean, we'll see. Honestly, I can't say that I've heard of him, but I appreciate it. It's somebody I'm going to look into. We'll definitely talk about it on the next show for sure. But I appreciate you chiming in with that comment. We got another comment from Brandon saying, no Stephon, no Trayvon. Whoop-de-doo, LOL. Come on, man. You just keep on going with the jokes, man. Now, mind you, it's funny you bring up Trayvon Diggs because, he did get cut by the Packers shortly after their season was over, just so we could just throw that out there. But again, appreciate y'all chiming in. Thoughts on Josh Brady joining the league, MVP in the NFL Euro League. Again, I don't know about that individual, but we'll be talking about them next show. We're definitely going to do our research on that. So I appreciate you chiming in with that comment. Got another comment from y'all coming up with these crazy usernames. I'm not going to say it, but shout out to you and Pops, big fan of the channel here doing some great stuff. Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate the love. I know Pops does as well. But
Yes,
Pops, we didn't talk about that. Trayvon Diggs, them getting cut by Green Bay. That didn't last long. Your thoughts?
it just showed that maybe Dallas was not wrong about that. Trayvon has not been, and I've always looked at him. He's not a physical type of a cornerback. He's a finesse cornerback, and as far as a ball hawk or whatever. But a lot of times, I hate to say it, but he always is looking at the back of somebody else's shirt or jersey. And again, the times when I thought he should have come up and make some plays, and I hate to bring up the Seattle Seahawks, but their defensive backs, they showed that they had that physicality. And the Packers, I think they got him out of love for the linebacker that they got. You know who that is. But they got him for that. I think they may have felt sorry for him, but he hadn't really been the kind of cornerback that I thought he should have been after that first season or so. So, hey, now we know. So Dallas may not have been as bad or may not have made the wrong decision.
I mean, it's looking that way, Pops. I mean, for them to cut ties so quickly, that says a lot. But yeah, you're right though. Good point. That could have been, hey, Michael saying, getting in the air, hey, go on, bring my guy over here real quick, y'all. He can play. Yeah, like, nah, no, he can't. Got another comment from Brandon. He played one snap and got torched. He is not healthy. Agreed. He does need to get back healthy. So, and we still don't know. The mystery behind that, injury he had, a concussion or whatever. We still don't know all of the happenings with that whole thing. So
Right.
Unbelievable. But he's no longer Cowboy, no longer a Green Bay Packer. We'll see. So the next thing we have to talk about, y'all. Again, it was so much stuff that happened, y'all. So much stuff that happened. Um, let's see. Got another comment. Appreciate you chiming in. Any info on Eddie Dundon was cut by Packers last year, ended up playing for Mount Joy and CFL. Nah, honestly, listen, man, don't know about that player, but you're giving me some stuff to look into for sure. I appreciate it though. Appreciate the comment. Appreciate you tuning in. Uh, yeah. So as I said, there's a lot of other things that happen in the league. Uh, Today there was a trade. The Chiefs traded Trent McDuffie to the Rams for multiple picks. That includes this year's first round draft pick, the Rams first round draft pick, which is the 29th pick in the draft. Also, they got a fifth rounder and a sixth rounder in this year's draft, and then a third rounder in next year's draft. So the Rams traded for Trent McDuffie. That's a big deal, Pops. Tell me what you think.
Well, the answer is when you just said that took place. I hadn't heard that, and so I think maybe more. So you're going to talk on that because I didn't know that. Didn't know that.
Yep. So that happened today. Again, fresh off the press, it happened today, where the Chiefs traded Trent McDuffie to the Rams for multiple picks. The Rams have done this before when they traded for Jalen Ramsey, right? Now he's no longer with the Rams, but they did trade for him, and they were trying to make a run. So that tells me now, and I like this. The Rams don't talk about being all in. They just do it. They show it with their actions that they are all in. They know they don't have a much. They don't have much time with Matthew Stafford. With Devontae Adams, he's not getting any younger. They have a short window. So that means, look, we're trying to get this in. We're trying to get a Super Bowl. The Rams are truly saying it with their actions instead of just saying with their words that we're all in. So I applaud them for doing it. They've had this mentality for a while. They kind of went away from it because they wanted to build a team through the draft a little bit, which they did with that defense, which is a heck of a defense. Those defensive linemen they have are super rock stars. So they're saying, look, we're going to make this defense even better with getting an Pro Bowl cornerback. The best defensive player besides Jones on the D line for the Chiefs is Trent McDuffie. Rams $44 million in cap space, top 10 in the league. Listen, Brandon, you're right about that, brother. Appreciate you tuning. Appreciate you chiming in with another comment there. But yeah, listen, they are all in. They are clearly showing that. And again, their actions are speaking louder than their words. So I applaud what they're doing. But yeah, that just happened today, Pops. Just happened today.
Okay.
So I see you, Rams. I see what you're doing there. Does they forget those picks, Pops? We're going to just get it in with players that are proven winners, that are proven in the league. We don't need the draft picks. We're going to get proven winners, proven players that'll get it done. So that's a good move for them. It really is. Like I said, they already had a great defense. They made it even better with this move today.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to talk about, Aaron Rodgers is still undecided about playing next season. Now, Pops, Mike McCarthy, his old coach from Green Bay, is now a coach at Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers was quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. Still undecided, Pops. Your thoughts?
Well, I think again, people don't know remember this, but they did at one time have a little rocky relationship, and they kind of maybe ironed it out. I guess that was over time, and I think he's going to really wait till the last minute. That's Aaron Rodgers to see if he really can come back. It's not just as much as him playing; it's the idea of his physicalness and the idea can he do that another year? Because as you continue to age, it's not always where you can just run right back out there and get on the field. So I'm hoping that he can maybe play one more year, but he needs to make sure he's physically ready to do that. Even though him and the coach, kind of made They messed up everything, and they think they possibly can do it one more time. But it's not so much that again. I said it's the physical ability of him to get back out on that field again to do what he once did, and we know he's a lot older, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, the thing for me is, Pops, is that we've been on this road before. We know how long it took the Steelers to sign him last year. It was this whole waiting game. He wanted to do this, wanted to do that, wanted to do this, wanted to do that. It's much more the same, and it doesn't matter. And we got another comment from Brandon. Aaron Rodgers is not Phillip Rivers. Agreed, agreed. But at the same time, it really doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all that he is undecided once again at this point in time. We saw how long it took him last year. It's going to take him the same amount of time this year. Again, it doesn't matter who the coach was. It doesn't matter who the coach is at all. He's going to take his sweet time. And I honestly thought he was going to retire. You know what I mean? I thought he was really going to, let it go with how the season ended, because it didn't end well for him, obviously. That last game they had was terrible. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll see again. Once again, we just got to be patient with him once again, and we'll see how it goes. But Mike McCarthy, Mike Tomlin, doesn't matter. He's gonna take his time. So one other thing I wanted to touch on, y'all, is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we know the drama is happening with AJ Brown right now. That happened throughout the season last year between him and the coach. And so what the sources are saying is that in order to get AJ Brown services, to acquire AJ Brown services, they're going to want a Quentin Williams type deal. So basically, the deal we made with the Jets to get Quentin Williams to the Cowboys is what the Eagles want in return for AJ Brown. Your thoughts, Pops?
Well, my thing is this: it's one thing to sign him and to get him signed, but it's another thing is the attitude that he showed last year and some of the pouting that he did. It's one thing to do that, but would he have shall I say, disgruntledness among the team members because of the way he acted and whatever? As long as I've heard some people say that if the ball is coming his way, well, then everything's great. But if he didn't get the ball, then he tends to pout or whatever. So I don't know. I think I might just go ahead and let him go on and go and see if you can get somebody else or whatever, to make sure you get the value for him. Because again, really the last 2 seasons, AJ Brown has kind of been a distraction. So we'll see what the Eagles do. But again, he may not need to be on the Eagles team anymore.
Agree. And the thing is, with so much drama, and then the coach is saying that, there's nothing there. Blah, blah. Okay, stop. Because we can all see this stuff. Got another comment from Brandon. AJ Brown is not T.O. He is not at all. He is not at all. He's nowhere close to T.O., in my opinion, at all. T.O. was just a consistent player no matter who the quarterback was. It didn't matter. He was going to produce regardless, and he did it with a ton of different teams. So good point, Brandon. Listen, it's too much drama with AJ Brown in general. And I think that he needs to go. He needs to change the scenery. Now the question is, who is he going to go to, Pops? That's the question. So someone's going to give up that compensation for AJ Brown. Now I'm saying, in my opinion, that it'll be the Patriots. He already has ties to the coach, Mike Vrabel, who was his former coach with the Titans, and he had some great seasons there till they, traded him away. But I think that's going to be something that we need to look at potentially happening, is AJ Brown becoming a Patriot. Now, there could be other suitors as well, but there are definitely those teams that are out there that are going to be willing to give that up for his services. Now, the only question is he going to be drama-free, or is he going to continue this drama that he's continued to cause when he's not getting the ball, all these things, reading a book on the sideline, all this different stuff. So what do you think? You think he might end up being the Patriot, Pop?
Well, yeah, he could be, and I say that because you look at the geographical nature of that. If he does become one of them, he's not. He's really right there by Philadelphia. He doesn't have to travel that far. And again, like you said, he also is in with the coaches, and so I think he could actually do that if they could actually put something together for that. But they're going to give up something for that. So yeah, I think that could actually happen. And again, he's right next on that East Coast, so I think he probably would go for that.
Yeah, I mean, so I could definitely see him with the Patriots. Um, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe I don't know, possibly. Because they definitely need another receiver. So that could be something there. Um, we got another comment from Brandon. AJ Brown is really Antonio Brown. LOL. Yo, that's it. I mean, listen, both talented players, but now I kind of got to disagree with you there because Antonio Brown was, yo, hey, where's this guy now? But took the cake when he just basically retired from the league, taking his whole uniform off, walking away, just wilding, wilding off the field. But yeah, I mean, listen, the drama is there. Yo, we wilding. This Pop single. He is not single. He is happily married. um, but yeah, listen, y'all. I think AJ Brown could wind up being a Patriot. He could be a Pittsburgh Steeler. There's other suitors that are out there that could use his services. But again, the hope is that the drama does not continue because there was plenty of drama with AJ Brown and the Eagles this past season. Last but not least, y'all, we're gonna move on from AJ Brown to another. Got another comment from Brandon. Okay, Ocho Cinco. Yeah, maybe. I like that one better. But Ocho Cinco wasn't on the sideline reading books. He was doing other antics. But I really was a fan of Ocho Cinco's antics on the sideline. It was fun seeing him do his thing. But y'all, before we end the show, there was one more notable situation that occurred. A death in the football world. Lou Holtz, legendary coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, passed away today. Pops, you have the floor.
Well, as you can see, well, Lou Holtz, what some people didn't actually know him because he went way back in an era, but he was first the actual head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and he built a tradition there of winners there, and that's how they became one of the better teams when they Southwest Conference, and then he went on to leave there, and he went on to play for to be head coach of Notre Dame, and right there he won a national championship, and I still say this: he's been one of the greatest coaches around. People don't give him credit for that. But Lou Holtz should be considered as one of the top coaches in the NCAA.
Appreciate that, Pops. I remember him briefly with Notre Dame because I really wasn't in the ball too much. As you know, I was more so about, video games, stuff like that at that time. But, at the end of the day, it was me seeing him being, I'm not going to read that. Y'all tripping. For anyone wondering, I sat beside him.
That's good. That's good.
Hilarious. Good with the jokes there. But anyway, I remember Lou Holtz as an analyst on the college football post-game shows with Mark May. That's where I really enjoyed watching his takes. Truly enjoyed seeing him talk about ball and his antics on the air. It was awesome to see, but sad to hear him that he passed away today. RIP Lou Holtz, legendary coach, as you said, first Arkansas Razorbacks and then the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But y'all, we're going to cut the show there. We thank y'all so